Hello everyone and welcome back to Art a la Carte. So in this video I'm going to show you how to draw an eagle's profile, kind of just the face and beak and neck feathers and stuff like that. So let's get started. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just build up with my shapes. I'm going to start off with kind of an oval shape for my eagle's head right there. And then I can begin to build in with that. Now the eagle's head kind of narrows down just a little bit. It's a little bit fuller in the back, so it's looking this way. So I'm going to build this kind of shape up and it gets a little flat on the top and then wraps around like so. Comes down here as this nice little S curve, so it kind of goes like this down just a little bit there. So right in here is where the beak is going to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create in the beak line, kind of where the top beak meets the bottom beak. I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to drop really softly because I might kind of erase and change things a little bit. And it's actually going to come up a little bit farther on the bird's head right up here. And it's going to kind of come out, and then after it comes out it's going to make this really nice curved in shape. Kind of like this hook. It doesn't curve in like totally all the way in, and it doesn't go all the way straight. It kind of curves in just a slight little hook and kind of comes in like that. So you have this really nice little curved shape, and depending on the kind of bird you're doing, the kind of eagle that you are, I think the beak size changes a little bit. So you just kind of have to look at the reference photos of what you want. And then the underside beak does not come out as full, like in a parrot, like it would come down really far. This one, you just see just a little bit of it as it goes in up towards the mouth. And again, the key is to draw really, really lightly, so that later on if you're like, yeah, it doesn't look right, you can erase and change things up, which I do a lot. Now the temptation is to take this line here and just go straight up to that, but actually it really doesn't. The top of the beak, it kind of curves down until it gets a little over halfway down, and then it curves and follows the bill line and wraps around the beak, kind of like lips, only they don't have lips, and then kind of comes out and then tapers down towards the bottom. And right at this point here, coming out kind of at an angle, is your nostril. I'll go ahead and erase this line here. First erase the lines I don't need. I start drawing the lines that I do need. So right here, kind of coming up at an angle, is going to be its nostril. It's kind of this really flat oval shape right there. A little bit of a ridge that kind of comes around and down, because this part of the beak is really hard and firm, like a tooth almost, where this is starting to get a little bit softer, more of a skin wrapping around it. So this just kind of wraps in. It's going to be the same color if you were to color it. I'm going to have just a little bit of a ledge coming up there on the front of the bird there. Alright, so let me clean up this part here. Alright, so for the eye of my bird, if you take from your nostril and you imagine a kind of a little line cutting back at that angle, going back, and you find this line here and cutting here, your eye is going to be right in this little groove right here. Boom, right there. And the really cool thing about eagles is they have this just really intimidating stare, because they have this really good forehead ridge that kind of cuts in over top of their eye a little bit. So it gives them kind of this stoic, kind of determined look, almost angry. They're the original Angry Birds. So you have this really great eye ridge, and then almost a complete circle for the eye. A lot of animals will have that almond shape or lemon shape or a box shape eye. But birds have a very, very circular. They do have a little bit of a kind of their teardrop point right over there. And then very much in the center will be their pupil as well. Okay, clean this up a little bit here. Alright, so we have everything kind of placed in the order that we want. So now I want to get some good texture, because he's looking like a very bald eagle, because he doesn't look like he has no feathers. So let's go ahead and add those feathers. So the feathers here on the very front of the face are very small and are not super ruffled. You might see a little bit of a ruffle kind of up in here, but as it comes back here and they begin to wrap around the head, that's where you're going to begin to see those ruffles. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create these little kind of zigzaggy, jaggy lines around here. I'm just going to start building in the shape that I want. Same thing down here, it's going to be very smooth, so it kind of comes out to this way, and then you're going to just see some very jaggy lines. And you don't want them all to be the same. You want to vary them up a little bit, some a little bit bigger, some, you know, going up a little higher, some coming down a little bit longer, some leaning a little to the left or the right, you know, add a little variance so it looks a little bit more natural. And then once you have the shape, then you can begin thinking about your extra detail and getting into the shading and the shadowing. But this basically is your basic build-up for a just kind of a cartooned or illustrated look of a eagle. So I'm going to very quickly show you how to put in some of the shading here in speed time so you can kind of see that. And we'll use my shadowing to push the places back and bring things forward. I'm especially going to concentrate on some good shadowing on this eye ridge to really sink that in and make this look a little bit more dynamic. And also on the bottom of this beak and a little bit down here to help pull some things out. Alright, so you can see I've just laid in some basic shading, and it looks, you know, it's kind of cool, but basically all I'm doing is just using the side of my pencil just to lay that in. And again, I'm really concentrating on the eyes and a little bit under here under this beak. To get this really kind of feathery look, I'm just taking my pencil and I'm just following those kind of lines of where I would have the feathers, but I'm just not letting it be a point. I'm letting it just kind of drag it. I'm not applying a lot of pressure with my pencil, and it's going to give that kind of illusion of feathers by just dragging the pencil over in that kind of jaggedy shape. And again, adding a little pressure and then pulling it off, and a little pressure, and it takes a little bit of practice, but you can get it. So once I have my shading in the way I like, then I'm going to go back in with a more fine point pencil. I'm going to use my mechanical pencil because I can get a really nice fine point. And I'm going to get some of these really fine line details, like right here in the mouth. Just because I need this really crisp line. So then before I get into the really fine detailing that I'm going to put into the feathers, I want to quickly go over some of the things with the eye. So for the iris itself, the colored part, I'm going to add some shading. But before I do that, I'm going to, with the pupil, I'm going to just make it nice and dark, nice and pinky black in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull in a little bit of shading over top of this eye. So I'm going to take my pencil and just very lightly pull in just a little bit of color right in there, and you'll see that just adds, I do it on the top half, not the bottom half, because as the light comes down, this eye ridge here is going to cast a shadow on his eye, and it would just actually highlight the lower half of his eye. And then for some extra just fun, you can take your gummy eraser and mold it into kind of a cone shape, and then you can just kind of tap it in there and you can pull off just a little bit of shine, and that just really adds a little personality. Now I'm going to go in and just finish everything up with some finished detailing, and this is just all about how much time you want to put into this drawing. If you want just a really quick picture of an eagle, after you get your just baselines in, you can stop. But if you really want a really nice finished piece, don't be afraid to put some time into it. And when I mean time, I'm talking about hours and possibly even days worth of working on it and coming back to it and working on it some more. So I will not film this in real time because I don't think you want to watch this for 3 hours, but I will go ahead and just do a really super fast time lapse so that you guys can see a little bit of the detailing work that I do. we go. There's still a little bit of work I have left to do on this piece, but it's getting very close to being done. And again, these are the kind of pieces that, you know, you can put as much work into or as little work into and still have a lot of fun with them. So I'm wondering what your favorite bird is, and if you'd like to see a tutorial on that bird. So leave in the comments what your favorite bird is and let me know if you would like to see how to draw that bird, or if you already know how to draw it, let me know. Say, hey, my favorite bird is chicken and I didn't know how to draw a chicken. I will say Yahoo. So if you want to follow a little bit more of some of my artwork that I do, more in a professional level or personal artwork, head over to my secondary channel up in the attic, and that has a lot of that kind of artwork in it. Lots of speed draws, speed paintings, things like that. I don't do any tutorials there, but I do just show a lot of how I work and how I progress through my pieces. And some people find that fun to watch, some people find it boring, I don't know. But check it over. I'll put a link to that in the description box below. And I usually try to upload a video at least once a week on that channel, so it can be fun to see. And yeah, I also have a painting very similar to this sketch that I did of a bald eagle that I'm planning on uploading very soon, if not as a companion to this video. If I do have that one up, I'll leave that in the link in the closing videos. But check that out if you'd like to. And again, thanks for drawing with me today, and until next time, God bless you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.